and welcome to FPL Mate, your best mate for fantasy Premier League content for the 2023-24 season. My name is Dan and it's time for our Game Week 24 episode of the 100 Experts. And guys, our expert managers have been making a lot of transfers this game week. There is so much data to go through today and some big surprises as well, guys. So if you do enjoy this one, leave a like, subscribe. Let's get started. So first of all, a big thank you to our 100 FPL experts, pundit, content creators, veterans that all helped us out with their data today. We're going to see what they're up to, try and figure out some trends based on what they're doing, who the popular picks are for transfers and captaincy, and much, much more. So guys, massive shout out to these guys. Let's see what they're up to. So as an overview, out of the 100 expert managers, 45% are making one transfer this week, but 33% are making two transfers. Yes, a third of our expert managers are making more than one transfer. In fact, more than that, because we've got 5% on 3 transfers and 3% on a wild card as well. So this is a huge week for transfers. And I think a big reason for that is because a lot of the teams that have double game weeks in Game Week 25, which we're all building towards that double game week, a lot of those teams have great fixtures this week as well. Man City play against Everton this week, then they double. Liverpool play against Burnley, and then they double. Luton play against Sheffield United, and then they double. So a lot of good stuff going on there, and you may as well use those transfers now. And that's what it seems like a lot of people are doing. This next period of 2 game weeks is going to be very, very important for a lot of FPL assets. So yes, our experts loving a transfer this week, really going for it, and only 14% choosing not to make a transfer this week, which is much lower than the average game week. So guys, it is a week to make transfers according to our experts. And if you're feeling brave, you know, we've got that 5% on 3 transfers. So yeah, it's quite significant, and a couple of wildcarders too. In terms of the most popular game week transfers in the world, here they are in front of us now, guys. And I think this week is really interesting because you're going to see very shortly, the similarity between this list of most popular transfers is not the same as the most popular transfers for our experts. In fact, some of the players on this list you see in front of you are actually being sold by our expert managers. So this is going to be a real opportunity game week, but we'll talk about that in a few minutes time. First of all, just quickly look through these. Richarlison at the top, closely followed by Erling Haaland, Diogo Jota in third, and the hype man Phil Foden in fourth there. Outside of that, you've got Trippier, De Bruyne, and a few others with varying levels of popularity among the overall player base. But I want to talk about who out of this list is also popular among our experts. And I have to say, there are players popular among our experts that do not even feature on this list. Very popular ones, in fact. But the ones that do are Erling Haaland, Diogo Jota, Phil Foden, and Kevin De Bruyne. So only 4 players on this list that our experts are really showing any significant interest in at all, which is, not that many considering how many transfers are being made. You know, we're talking 100 plus transfers being made by 100 expert managers. Much more than that, in fact. 150 transfers pretty much being made. So it's a lot. And to see only 4 of these players popular among our experts as well really shows there's a big difference between what the overall player base are doing in FPL at the moment and the top managers, which is an opportunity. Let's talk about some of the players with no popularity among our experts. Richarlison, Trippier, Haaland, Palmer, and Watkins. In fact, particularly with Richarlison, Trippier, Watkins, even Palmer to a degree, these are players being sold by experts. Maybe not being sold by a lot, but certainly being sold by at least 1 or 2, maybe even 3, but no interest in. No one wants to buy these players among our top FPL managers. Haaland, no interest in whatsoever. No one's selling. I think one person's selling him and no one's buying him among our experts as well. So yeah, seriously guys, there's going to be a huge difference between what the overall, the average, I don't want to say casual because some people take offense to that, but I guess less engaged FPL manager will be doing, and the expert manager. There'll be a big difference this week. And I always think when we see these kind of game weeks, that always presents opportunities because the top managers, they're top managers for a reason, and they will be seeing things that maybe the average manager is unable to see. So there's opportunities here, guys, and I think a lot in particular revolves around these double game weeks. People are bringing in Richarlison, Trippier, Haaland, Palmer, Watkins, maybe not knowing that, some of these players blank in a couple of weeks. None of them have double game weeks. A lot of them have a pretty low chance of even playing in game week 29, where our expert managers will be planning for the double game week. They'll be thinking about captaincy and chips and where they're going to do all different things like that, which often, at these times when we get double and blank game weeks, there is a start to be a divide where the top managers really do start to rise to the top, the very, very top of the pile, and those maybe less experienced might actually find themselves losing rank a little bit. This is the time of the season where that happens every single year. So hopefully we'll keep seeing these divides, and we'll hopefully be able to keep taking advantage of these divides and using that expert data to get ahead of the pack, which I really hope we'll be able to today. So yeah, let's do that. So in terms of our experts' top transfers out, I was a little bit surprised to see Solanke in here, but having seen Solanke's numbers over the last 4 game weeks, I can understand why owners are a little bit disappointed with 3 blanks in his last 4. So 17 transfers out of 83, and that's, to be fair, not too many expert transfers out because most of our experts already own Solanke, you know, the vast majority of them. So it's actually only a kind of a small percentage of them selling Solanke, but regardless, there are some selling Solanke here. Bowen is the second most sold player among our experts, 15 transfers out for him. That's far more of a significant proportion of the Bowen owners. Pedro Porro, few transfers out for him. Obviously, he's a very popular pick among our experts as well. So again, a fraction of experts will be selling Pedro Porro, but still, 14 transfers out. This is a trend. This is significant. Gordon owners will be feeling a little bit disappointed after he picked up an injury. We're still not 100% sure if he's going to be available or not for Game Week 24, but it's not looking particularly positive, and maybe there's some other midfielders we can go for. And we've got Ollie Watkins here, 7 transfers out for him after his mega haul, and only a top manager would be willing to sell a player who's just scored a whole bunch of points and sell them at the week after. You've got to have some serious guts about you to be doing something like that. But certainly it's something that is being done. Aside from that, we've got Archer, Consell with an injury, Isak, Richarlison, yes, Richarlison, most popular transfer in being sold by experts, and Saka there at the bottom there. I think those players towards the bottom, Richarlison and Saka, might be a little bit controversial, but I can understand why it's being done, considering some of the midfield options that we do have available to us at the moment. So here are our most popular transfers in. We have got a standout player on this list, guys, and therefore the #1 transfer target for the game week, according to our expert FPL managers, and that is Diogo Jota. So first of all, congratulations to anyone who already has Diogo Jota. You are ahead of the pack. You're ahead of the game because our experts love this guy right about now. Against Burnley now, then we've got the double game week for Liverpool in 25, a couple of really nice game weeks for Diogo Jota, and we know his ceiling is so high. We know his potential is through the roof, and you can get some significant points for him if you have him in your FPL team. Second place here, we've got Darwin. So again, Burnley now, double game week, next game week, a really nice pair of fixtures for Liverpool players. If you are going to buy Liverpool players for the double game week, get them now. Don't wait for next game week and take advantage of this Burnley fixture as well. So that's why we do see these players at the top. Darwin's always a controversial pick in FPL. He's obviously very frustrating, but all season he has been getting FPL returns. You know, he's been getting FPL returns. Whether they've been consistent or not is another question, but he's got him. Erling Haaland, following the trend of the last game week or so, where people have started to bring in Erling Haaland. I think we'll see the final few of the experts bringing him in this week, and maybe a few more next game week, but I believe by next game week, it'll be pretty much 100% ownership among experts for Erling Haaland, if not, you know, 95% plus, because it's going to be a huge double game week for Manchester City next week. So yeah, if you haven't got him already, think about it now. We've got Everton this game week. We're probably going to get early team news as well. We'll share all of that with you on the deadline stream, of course. And outside of that, we've got a few other players as well that are kind of interesting. We've got Doughty, we've got Van Dijk, so a couple of defenders of interest there. We've got Barkley, yes, another Luton Town player. A few people still looking to bring in De Bruyne. We've got Gavardio, Walker, Foden. So again, more Man City players who have that double game week in Game Week 25. Tony, another player who has a double game week. So what do you notice about every single one of these players? Guys, they all have double game weeks in Game Week 25. Every player who is popular among our FPL experts has a double game week in Game Week 25. People are preparing for this double game week right now. And if you're buying players that do not have a double game week, then I think you are underestimating the power of the double game week. I think I've said double game week enough now, haven't I, guys? Let's suggest some transfers for you based on this data. So first of all, let's talk about Diogo Jota, because he is target #1, and there's 2 players that I think are the most obvious players to sell for Diogo Jota, and that's Bowen and Gordon. Having said that, I think Diogo Jota is probably the best midfielder in the game for Game Week 25, for Game Week 24, sorry. For Game Week 25, you know, maybe you throw De Bruyne, Foden into that conversation a little bit more. Obviously, those 3 midfielders are probably considered the best at the moment, but Diogo Jota for this game week is probably the best midfielder. So, you do want to get him in, most likely, unless it's just not possible, in which case, fair enough. But Bowen and Gordon, very easy to transfer those kind of players out for Diogo Jota. Other players, you know, your Richarlisons, your Sakas, you could do it, but again, it's not such an easy decision to kind of sell those players. So that's going to be down to you guys. Pedro Porro is a very popular transfer out for defenders as well. And I've got Doughty written down here as a 4.6 million option, but Virgil van Dijk is also pretty popular as a transfer in for this game week among our defenders. So if you are sick and tired of Pedro Porro, you don't have the faith in him anymore, then maybe a move to a doubling, well, a very soon doubling defender could work in your favour. So Doughty there, I think, going to be a really, really nice, popular pick for Sheffield United this week, and then a double the following week as well. Moving on to some forwards, it looks like Solanke to Haaland, Solanke to Darwin. These are the kind of moves that you might be thinking about making this week. I think Solanke is going to be much easier to sell right now than Watkins, because Watkins, particularly after this game, I think Solanke has the better fixture in game week 24, but from game week 25 onwards, Watkins has the far superior fixtures, and you would possibly say the better form as well. So therefore, it's going to be much easier to sell Solanke right now than it is going to be to sell Watkins, particularly off the back of that previous game week. But that's not to say that you can't sell Watkins. If you really want to get Haaland into your team, and the only way of doing that is to sell Watkins, maybe you don't have a Solanke, maybe you don't have an Alvarez to sell, maybe you don't have any other forwards that you're willing to sell, then maybe Watkins is going to be the solution to you. But yeah, certainly Haaland and Darwin seem to be the two most crucial forwards to own at the moment, followed by Tony, I guess, because there was a little bit of interest in Tony. So yeah, sell some forwards if you haven't got Haaland, and even if you do have Haaland, maybe you consider selling a forward and getting in Darwin if you trust him, which I know a lot of you guys don't, but if you do, why not? Finally, let's talk about captaincy, guys, for Game Week 24, and we're back to business as usual. As we can see, Erling Haaland dominating the captaincy numbers this week. Again, it's a throwback to like early this season and all of last season, where everyone's just captaining Haaland every week. But we still haven't quite got to Haaland, 80%, Haaland 90%, because we're still only on 69%. That does kind of suggest to us that maybe there's a little bit of opportunity, a little bit of wiggle room if you really do want to go differential. And there is a differential with some significant backing behind him, and that's Diogo Jota. So I think Haaland is going to be the template pick, the popular pick, the safe pick, the, I don't want to say boring pick, but if you just want to play things safe, you don't really want to take a risk, and you just want to go with the crowd for this game, we can kind of maybe depend on the rest of your team to get you the points, then Erling Haaland is your safe pick. If you're happy with your rank where you are, you just want to keep it going, maintain Haaland. But if you fancy going risky, there is some significant backing. Like 20% is no joke on Diogo Jota this week against Burnley. So, yeah, very interesting stuff. Darwin Nunez, 5%. That's not nothing either, to be fair. I don't know how I feel about that one. But, guys, honestly, 5%. There is still a decent amount of top FPL managers that will be captaining Darwin. And Foden on 2%, maybe off the back of last game week. Is it knee-jerk, or is it just a case of Foden being in great form at the moment, and therefore, can he translate that form to the next game week? Well, very possibly, 2% on him. And a couple of 1%ers as well, we will give a quick shout out to, because why not? We've got De Bruyne, 1% on De Bruyne, 1% on Richarlison, 1% on Van Dijk, and the reasoning, the logic behind that was that often Burnley do like to concede a goal from those set pieces, and if you get Van Dijk goal and a clean sheet and maybe 3 bonus points as well, that's going to be a mega score, like really seriously a mega score. It's a risky play, but look, there are different ways of playing FPL. And finally, Adebayo is the other 1%er. He's playing against Sheffield United. Obviously, he's shown some pretty good form at the moment, but do we trust those kind of players ahead of Haaland's and Diogo Jota's? I'm not really sure, but I'll leave that one with you guys, because those are our captaincy picks. Again, if you are debating captaincy right now, Haaland is your safe pick, Diogo Jota is your risky pick. Outside of that, you're going a little bit crazy, because there's no significant trends outside of, beyond Darwin, there's no trend. So it might be very much a 3-horse race with 1 horse way out in front this week. But I'd be interested to see your thoughts, guys. Out of Haaland, Diogo Jota, and Darwin, is there anyone else you're seriously considering? Are you really thinking about going for a Foden or a De Bruyne or a Richarlison? Is there someone else who hasn't been mentioned this game week? Do you fancy a Watkins off the back of last game week? I don't know. Let me know what you think, guys, in the comments, because I think captaincy will be fairly straightforward this week between the top 2 on this list. Outside of that, I can't really see too many people captaining pretty much anyone else. So, yeah, might actually be just a case of Haaland versus Darwin, which could be fun and could be interesting and could create some rifts in the FPL world. But I'm there for it. Guys, thank you so much for watching. If you did enjoy, make sure you do drop a like before you disappear. Do subscribe if you're new around here. And one more quick note, guys, because we are going to be dropping our ultimate strategy, chip strategy guide. I hope early tomorrow morning, because I'm waiting for the games this evening to conclude. And then I'm going to do an all-nighter and get you that video up for tomorrow morning. And we're going to talk about all of the best chip strategies for you to use depending on your situation. So we're going to hopefully help all of you out with your chip strategies, no matter who you are, what your situation is. So I'm really looking forward to dropping that one. But aside from that, guys, feel free to go check out another video on the channel, and I will see you tomorrow morning bright and early for a chip strategy video. See you later, mates.